Hey, hi, hello. My name is Emily, and thanks so much for hanging out with us on the Today Needs You podcast. This is where we have the chance to chat about all the things, from feelings and friendships to our favorite sneakers and our favorite Bible verses. We're going to tackle it all. I'm super pumped about today's episode, so let's dive in together. Hi, Abby.
Hi.
I'm so excited that we're here recording a podcast
Me
together.
too.
Thanks for being here.
Of course.
Abby is a literal lifelong friend. I was at the hospital when she was born.
Yes.
We are 6-ish years apart.
Yeah.
How old are you?
22.
Yeah, and I'm 28. So yeah, 6 years apart, grown up together, but also not together because we were
6 years apart.
right.
Mhm.
But now we're like same phase of life,
Friends.
super fun.
Oh, yeah.
And today we're going to be talking about how to handle when you disagree with your parents.
Yes.
Because we both have plenty of experience with that one, don't we?
As most children
As
do.
anyone does.
Yeah.
It's true.
Mhm.
It's true. But we also like our parents too.
We do. We love our
so,
parents.
yeah, they're pretty cool. And parents.
Yes.
I first wanted to ask you, do you remember when your parents became like people in your brain? Because I think we all either are going to experience that moment or remember when we did.
Yeah. It definitely was in college for me. I remember like crossing the street with friends and realizing no one's looking both ways for me and being like, oh, they used to always do that for me. And
Yeah, they did.
like things that they taught me, I would call them whenever I'd realize something that I was thankful for. And I'd be like, thanks for doing that. Thanks. Even though I hated you for punishing me at that time, I'm so grateful for that now. And realizing that they are just humans trying to figure out parenting as I'm trying to figure out what it's like to be a child.
Right.
So like it's both our first times every day.
That's really true. We're all figuring it out always.
Yeah.
That's what I learned when I graduated college was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not that I figure it out.
You'll never
It's
figure
that
it out.
I hopefully get better at realizing that I will never have it figured out.
Yeah. You look at your parents and you like, they know everything.
Yes.
That's who you ask questions about. So you would
Yeah.
only assume they know everything about parenting too.
Yeah.
Newsflash.
Lo and behold,
Yeah.
not quite.
Crazy.
I remember one time when I realized my parents were people, I think I was like 15, and I said something like just straight up rude to my mom.
Mhm.
And it was the first time I saw her like her face get like hurt then mad.
Oh.
And not, yeah, that was terrible. I
That's
still
tough.
feel bad about it. I would like to say I never made that mistake again, but I have.
But we're not perfect.
But we forgive
And
each other.
We don't claim to be perfect either.
No, but we accept responsibility when we make a
Mhm.
mistake. And yeah, ask for forgiveness because that was bad. That was a doozy.
Mhm.
But on that note of like, when you're realizing your parents were people, I think that's also something we work really hard to navigate is handling disagreeing with your parents, especially being under the same roof as them. And when they are making most of our decisions, either with or for us, how did you handle disagreeing with your parents? And like, I think you and I both shared, like, we trusted our parents
Mhm.
while also having very strong opinions
Yes.
and like really wanting to do whatever we wanted to do.
Yes.
So that's why I wanted to talk to you about
Yeah.
this, because I feel like we have like
Mhm.
both of those very strongly.
Mhm.
So yes.
I'll say first, not always well.
You did not always handle it well.
Nope. But I think what I learned most, what I learned worked best
Oh yes.
was to, when I disagreed with them, to step away and not, because usually you're both kind of upset and heated and defensive,
Yeah.
not just you. And so I would step away and kind of formulate my own argument and my own thoughts of
Yes.
why I even felt that opinion.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't just me being defiant, that it was that I actually felt that way.
Mhm.
And then trying to understand where they were coming from as my parent. Were they concerned about my safety? Were they concerned about my health? To also appeal to that. And then would go back to them and say, okay, I thought about this and I know you think this way. I think this way and this is why.
Yeah.
And even saying, I don't think either of us are wrong.
Yeah.
Like even your opinion can also be right. They're still your parent, and so ultimately they get to make that decision. But I saw that work a lot better than just fighting with them.
Yes.
Is coming at them. And then sometimes they understand and they have had a chance to cool down and they see that it really matters to you, whatever you're disagreeing on. And sometimes they are like, oh, that was good. Thank you for doing that respectfully. Like, I now agree with you. And you
kind of like earn
their respect.
Some credibility too. Like, you may not win. You may not get what you want out of that conversation, but it's definitely like, I think the way you handle that of like taking responsibility, not only for your thoughts, but like how you handle your feelings and how you handle your thoughts.
Yeah.
I think definitely probably like made it easier for them to give you more responsibility or trust you with more, give you more freedom or whatever that may look like.
If you come
down the road
like a child, they'll treat you like a child.
That's really reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about disagreeing with parents and presenting arguments. And when I was in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, I made PowerPoint presentations. One for AOL Instant Messenger and why I should get it. 2 to get a cell phone. And 3 to get Facebook. And I had PowerPoint presentations about like common misconceptions, what I would use it for, why I wanted it, and how I would handle it safely. And they could be aware of everything that was going on. Like, I wanted them to see us as being on the same team, which was totally to get what I wanted.
For sure.
Not
Play
the right
audience.
reasons. Yeah. I just like paid attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like worked really hard on those. I do think the AOL one worked, I think, which is why I tried it 2 more times. The other ones, I have to believe laid the foundation.
Yeah.
Because I eventually got what I asked for, even though it wasn't in that exact moment.
And that probably ended in the end result, played a part, whether they knew it or not.
Right.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
Yeah. We did the same thing for pets.
Oh, yeah.
If we wanted a pet, we would make a PowerPoint. That never worked. But that's an example of it working and not working. And,
yes.
And sometimes you look back and you think they were right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you look back and you think they're still wrong.
I still believe they were wrong.
I still believe that I was right in that scenario, but...
And I survived.
Yeah. But I'm alive and I'm okay.
I made it through, even though they were wrong, and I could have been right, maybe.
And I have brought those back to my parents from high school.
For sure.
Remember when we disagreed about this? And I was
I ended up being dead right.
And they're like, yeah, sorry, we're not perfect. Like, and that's
and you're like,
humans.
Oh, yeah.
Dang it.
It's so unfortunate that when parents make a mistake, it doesn't like disqualify. But it's unfortunate and comforting. That, like, even when they make a mistake, that doesn't like disqualify them for being our parents.
Yeah.
Like, we get to like rest easy knowing like
10 tallies.
They're our parents no matter what, which is like sometimes frustrating and other times very comforting.
I'd say mostly pretty comforting.
Mostly comforting.
Love my parents. They're great.
Yeah. And I remember like even when I would be so mad that like the way I got in trouble for like I always disagreed on like the scale. Like I would like get a bad grade on a test because I didn't try, because I didn't study, because I forgot about whatever, and I had a million reasons of why. And then I would be like, I thought disproportionately grounded. Like even when I was so mad, I remember thinking like, okay, it makes their life harder for me to be grounded because I'm really annoying when I'm grounded. it makes their life harder. So like they have to be doing this like for me.
Yeah.
Like it's because they care about me that I'm grounded.
Yeah.
My grades don't affect them. My going out and hanging out with friends doesn't affect them. It actually affects them more when I'm like being a pouty twerp walking around the house.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, okay, they really are making this decision carefully and like because they care about me.
Going out of their way to punish you, which is kind of frustrating. You're like, your life would be so much easier if you would just
like let
drop
me
it.
help you.
Yes. The same thing happened to me. I got grounded for something in high school, and when I was able to drive, so I had a job.
Yeah.
And so they had to drive me to school, pick me up from school, drive me to work, pick me up from work, and they also have jobs. So like they took time out of their day to go tote me around to my job. And I was like, this would be so much easier if you would just forget about it.
And they're like, we know.
Yeah. Like, but we care about this so much,
Yes.
we're sticking to it.
That was a way that my mom taught me, Emily, your actions affect others. I now have to drive you. I now have to drive Joe because you don't have all of the domino effect, repercussions. Yes. I think it's very interesting.
It is.
But I think it has made, like, I realized when I went to college, it was really helpful. And I kind of like, it kind of sets you apart to like know that you don't know everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I think spending so much time disagreeing with my parents so wholeheartedly, like every fiber of my being believed my perspective.
Yes.
1,000%.
I think we share that in common. When we think we're right, there is not a soul that's going to change my mind.
I'm like, everybody come get on board so you can be right with me.
Or you can be wrong.
Yeah, over there.
Yeah.
And so I remember like going to college and realizing like knowing that I don't know everything is so helpful. It takes the pressure off of myself. When I don't know anything, I don't feel like I'm failing. It's like, oh, I'm a person.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And relationships with anyone, with teachers, professors, coaches, peers, like relationships with anyone, people older than you, younger than you, whatever, are made so much better.
Yeah.
And it is thanks to the grit of my parents and their tenacity because I'm just as stubborn now as I was when I was 18 months old. I just like now have the wherewithal to like know that I don't know everything. And it took a long time for me to learn that lesson. But
it's a tough one.
Yeah. Man.
It's a painful one.
I think tougher for some than others.
Yeah.
But it's because of that
it sticks.
Yeah.
For the most part. Yeah.
And I think our like other relationships benefit from.
For sure.
Yeah.
You go to college and realize not everyone grew up where you grew up.
Yeah.
And people have different opinions and thoughts and like different things. And you realize, you know what? I'm probably not right. And it is very comfortable.
Trucking along.
Knowing that I don't have to be right. Even in class.
Yes.
Like raising your hand and being wrong about something. Like, that was the most terrifying thing ever. But accepting that you don't know everything is a little peaceful.
That's kind of part of why you're sitting in the class.
That's kind of why you went to college.
Because you don't know everything. So yeah, it's cool to me to think about all the ways in which like how to disagree with your parents is like, I think always something that is hard.
And it'll never stop.
Yeah. Heads up.
Yeah.
28 and 22 and
best friend, fight still.
Yes. It's so hard. Yeah. Because I want us to like agree on everything because I like them.
Yeah.
And we're just not going to.
Yeah.
And so it's been cool to like navigate how to disagree. And it was cool to navigate that when I was under their roof and had to do what they said, even if I thought it was so wrong. But it's cool to see how it not only has affected my relationship with my parents, but also
with others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts?
Just that it's easier to know when you look back on it. It's easier to see life is,
yes,
you can Looking back, it's way
Yeah.
easier to tell. So even when you do disagree with your parents, it's like I like to think back to other times I disagreed when they maybe were right and give them a little credit.
Yes.
And be like, okay, they were right then. And
Yeah.
so maybe they're right now. And
That's so good.
even though I may still disagree, I'm going to trust.
Yes. And I think trust is not trusting that they'll get it right 100% of the time,
But it's
but
going to be
trusting,
okay.
yes, trusting that your parents, that it's going to be okay even when they don't get it right. Like
Yes.
they're not going to get it right every
Yes.
time.
And then you're going to live. It'll be okay.
And it's going to be okay even when they don't get it right.
Yeah.
That was something that was huge for me. I thought trust meant like that person is always right.
Uh-huh.
And that's what trust is.
Mhm.
And then I realized like, oh no, because we're human beings, trust is actually like, it's going to be okay even when we're wrong.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hugely helpful.
So great.
Abby, thanks so much for joining
Of
us.
course.
This is not the last time
Oh,
we
good.
will hang out. I'm so excited.
Yes.
But we'll see you guys next week.
Yes.
Thanks so much for listening while we're just getting started. If you want to stay plugged into this community, like, subscribe, and let us know what you'd like to hear more about, who you would like to hear from by shooting us an email at info@allthethings.community.